Hey guys. Hey, hey, hey. Hi everyone. So excited to be here. Just getting everything organized and ready for us to have a really good conversation. I'm excited because it's another day to be alive. It's another day for a great conversation and wearing Rugrats, guys. On Facebook, I don't think you can see it, but on YouTube, on Periscope, y'all can see, which is always really fun. And it's going to be a good day because I said it is. So it's got to be ultimately, which is really fun. Look, I'm rhyming, y'all. The holidays are good for me. Sometimes they're not, but I feel like this year they are. And today's really good because it's Dear Journal. I really look forward to these conversations because they're like deeply deep and moving. And it's a little bit like church. So if y'all are ready to go to church with me, then we're gonna have a good time, y'all. We're gonna have a good time. So share this out, of course, of course, of course. We are no one's, we're not doing this just for kicks and giggles. We're doing this to transform people's lives. So share this out, and then we will be started in like a couple of seconds. So bear with me. I'm sharing this out to a couple of places. And of course, you can always share this out when we're done, which is also important too. So just share, 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 share. If you're in groups, share it out to your groups. If you like to share stuff on your personal page, share that out. And like I said, just a couple more seconds, and then we're going to be good to go. Fun, fun, fun stuff, guys. All right. So let's see. Da-da-da. Fun, fun, fun. Share, share, share. And then I think we can get started. We're having like noise situation happening on. Okay. That was weird and different, but I'm into it. Let's do this. Oh no, I think we're having. Okay, so it looks like that's what was happening. So on Periscope, I think the device I was using for that might have restarted it, like totally crashed. Gotcha. But you know what? We're not gonna stop the show for that. I think it's important that we just like keep it moving, and then we'll deal with that later. Okay, so it's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. Let's get started. Hello, hello, hello on Facebook, on YouTube. My name is Natasha Nurse. I am a coach. I am a speaker. I am a content creator behind Dressing Room 8. Today's segment is a monthly talk that I like to do called Dear Journal. Every month, I write in multiple journals. This is my journal that I'm currently working through right now. I have a couple of journals, but my favorite is this one because any of my Walking Dead fans will realize just who this gorgeous man is. And my heart hurts. My heart hurts. If you watch the show, you know why my heart hurts. I can't say it. I can't say it and ruin it for you guys. But watch Walking Dead if you're not already watching Walking Dead. And my heart hurts. That's all I can say. My heart hurts, guys. So, with that, let's get started. Expectations. This is definitely a universal topic, right? This is not something that just like, oh, I dealt with in Manhattan. No, nope, nope. You could be in Georgia. You could be in Brazil, you could be in Jamaica, you could be in California, you could be in Congo, you could be somewhere in Asia, you could be somewhere in India, you could be somewhere in Australia, Alaska, wherever human beings exist on this planet. Woman, man, anything in between, anything outside of those gender spectrums. Expectations is a universal human situation. And I think human beings have a good and a bad approach to dealing with expectations. Should we expect the best out of ourselves? Of course we should. Should we expect the best out of our loved ones? Ah, should we expect anything out of people and things that we don't control? Ah, right. So things to talk about. That's definitely what I want to talk about today, and it's going to be a good conversation. So I really encourage you to join me on this journey. If you have questions, if you have comments, if there are things that I'm saying that's resonating with you, please put them in the comments. If there are things that you disagree with, please put them in the comments. If there are things that you're like, I want to talk more about this, I want you to dive a little bit deeper in here, please put that in the comments. All right, so let's get started. Expectations. So I can come from what I know as a person, as what I dealt with in my life, what I deal with as a coach, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so personally, I want to do a little bit more personal sharing because I think that's the best way for you guys to get to know me. It's the best way to understand where I'm coming from, how I'm thinking, how I'm processing things. And growing up, again, if anyone's new to the Dressing Room Mate platform, hello, welcome. If you've been rocking with me, y'all know the deal. My family's from Jamaica. And if you know anything about Caribbean culture, you know it's not cuddly. You know that, at least with Jamaicans. I can't speak on all the islands, but for the people that I know, typically they're not a cuddly bunch of people. There's a lot of expectation, especially when you are like first generation born in America, like I am. There's the expectation that like whatever happened back home, you are in the promised land, aka America, aka the land of the dreams, aka land of opportunity, aka there's no excuse. The expectation for success is paramount. It was probably more important than anything else. I would say was the overarching theme in my life, that you needed to succeed, that I needed to go to school and get the best of the best grades. Because why wouldn't you? What's your excuse? What's your problem? Was really the expectation that I grew up. What's another one? And so I'm in my journal, guys. So, you know, if you journal as well and you have written about expectations in your life, I'd love a little nugget in the comments here on Facebook, here on YouTube, guys. Please put that in. Another one was lose weight. I started gaining weight at the age of 6. And ironically, I was just talking to my husband about this. I didn't put the pieces together, guys. So I had an incident that happened when I was 6 years old. I was learning to play the piano at a school. Yes, at a school, like an after school kind of program that my parents put me in. And the teacher did something that really changed my life, really. It was really unfortunate. It was like me and maybe 6 or 7 other girls. And we would all come. I believe it was, I can't remember now if it was during the weekdays or on the weekend, but we would go. It would be like an hour session. And I always remember being asked to play last, to practice last. And one day, me, Natasha, Miss boisterous, talkative Natasha, I asked the teacher, I said, hey, teacher, you know, why do you make me play at the end? Because I have less time, because my time was always shorter, because he always cut it off shorter so that we could start packing up and getting ready for our parents to come pick us up, right? We were 6 years old. So we were little people. And one day, when I asked that question, that teacher turned to me and said that N people can't play the piano. And that's why. And I had never heard the N word. I don't even think I've ever discussed this on this platform. I think I've talked about this story elsewhere on my podcast on Woken Free, but I thought, you know, it'd be good to talk about it here because it's definitely a part of expectations. And I didn't really even know I was Black. It wasn't like a conversation that I had with my parents at the time. I was 6 years old, right? Like, what parent says, "Come here, my Black daughter. Come here, my," right? Like, no one really does that. And so it was it was a game changer because I was heartbroken. I was embarrassed. He said this in front of all the other kids in the class. I was devastated. It was definitely one of the worst moments of my life. And it started something inside of me that I think I was able to work through when I got older, when I met my husband, when I started to take courses involving Black studies, when I started to spend more time with people of color that weren't Caribbean, because Black narrative is different, culturally speaking, from Caribbean people versus Africans versus African Americans. Very nuanced. Black identity is a nuanced journey, and we make it that way. Culturally speaking, people from different backgrounds have their beliefs, and we don't always make it easy for ourselves, I think. And so now then, right, I think a part of processing that incident, that trauma, to me, I turned to food. I saw that my mother was definitely someone who used food as a coping mechanism for dealing with emotions and things going on in her life. And I definitely followed suit. I definitely turned to food and started gaining weight and gaining more weight and eating extra things and not taking care of myself and not sleeping well and not exercising, really not really seeing what was happening. But there was this overarching expectation of like, lose weight. Why are you doing this to yourself? ... Right. And all of these other people's expectations on what beauty is and what the ideal weight and ideal size is. And that was really challenging because I think, could I lose weight? Could I have lost weight then? Could I lose weight now? Of course I could. Is it something that is, I think it's a nuanced journey. Weight and nutrition and health is a personalized journey. And it was really challenging to deal with the expectations of others put onto me, especially your parents, right? The people who you look up to the most, the people you admire the most, the people you spend the most time with. For me, at least, I didn't have any friends. I didn't really have people that I talked to. I talked mostly to my parents, and that expectation was soul crushing. So that was another thing that I grew up with. That was as I talk about it right now, I'm trying to kind of find the words to really not break down, but then also just to like be as clear and as effective as I can in demonstrating just the importance and the challenge that come with expectations. Another expectation I had that I wrote a little notes about was happiness, right? So happiness wasn't something that was promoted in my household. It wasn't like I would come home, are you happy? What was the best thing that happened to you? Nope, those questions were never asked of me. So the expectation of being happy didn't exist per se, but there was the expectation that I should be happy with what I have. I should eat up all the food on my plate. I should be happy with my existence. And if there's not, then like, what's your problem? Right? Like, why aren't you getting it together? So that was a really interesting kind of nuanced expectation because, like I said, I didn't grow up people asking me if I was happy. I didn't grow up with people concerned about my level of happiness, but I wasn't allowed to be unhappy. Right? And how tricky and interesting is that to navigate as a child, right? And not really understand. I don't think you understand happiness to the extent that you do as an adult. I think it's different. There's different seasons of happiness. As a child, it's about things, right? And I like feel for some people as adults, it's you still like get a certain level of it. It's not, you're not happy for the thing, but you're happy for the use of the thing, right? Like you're happy, not because you have a tablet, but you're happy because you got to watch your favorite show on a tablet. So it's the experience, it's the thing being the conduit for something else that makes you happy, right? The actual Porsche itself, does it really make you happy? Probably not, but being able to drive it and feel luxurious and be able to go places feels something and spark something inside of you, right? So it's interesting. Another expectation, a couple other expectations I had growing up, this was like the context of the beginning stages of my life, would be do what you're told, right? So in my household, my parents ran a very strict ship. It was do what you're told. And I'll tell you guys, so really interesting. I grew up not having a babysitter. I was left alone from the age of 6 years old, which is total child neglect. Totally illegal, guys. I tell my dad all the time, I'm like, you are neglectful. But I was a really, really well-behaved child. I didn't go outside. I listened because my father and my parents scared the, wahooza out of me. And it was, it was interesting, right? But that was an expectation. You're supposed to do what you're told. You're not supposed to turn on the stove when no one's around and burn down the home. You're not supposed to talk to people you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to go out and be bad, right? Whatever being bad is in the context for how you grew up or what your family instilled in you. So that was another expectation. And then also like make your family proud, right? I think that also that expectation tied in with the academic success, the whatever you do, you need to be great at it thing, because it's not just for you, but you're a representation of the family. You're a representation of your culture. Right. So yes, I'm not born in Jamaica, but I have Jamaican heritage. So by essence, I am an extension of that culture. So I better do good. I better succeed. I better, right? And there's no room for error. There's no room for failure, which is a really interesting expectation to grow up with, right? What does that do? It's crippling. It's absolutely crippling because you feel suffocated by yourself. You feel suffocated by others. And it can be extremely challenging to go through that. So that's the context. Those are some of the expectations. There's more, of course, there's always more. But those were the overarching themes of expectation in my life. And if you are listening and you're like, that's interesting. Oh, that relates to me. Please, whether you're watching this on the live or whether you're watching this on the replay, put those in the comments here on Facebook, on YouTube, and let me know, because I would love to hear just kind of what was contextually, how did you understand expectations? What did expectations mean to you from 0 to 10, from 10 to 20? How did they change? What did they mean differently for you? Did you ignore them? Did you adhere to them? All of that good stuff, right? And so then, since we've talked about the kind of context, what's the problem with expectations, right? I write this problem down in my journal. And so here's some thoughts that I have around this. You're not going to meet them all. Like, I don't want to be a pessimist. I don't want to, crush dreams. If you know anything about me, I'm all about optimism. I think possibility, if you believe in possibility, you literally can fly to the moon and back. Possibility will see you through anything. It'll see you through trauma, through challenge, through obstacle. It will see you through the worst moments of your life. If you can hold on to possibility, you can do anything. I really do believe that. However, there are teachable moments when we don't meet the mark for things. And it's not because you're not supposed to, it's because you're supposed to learn something. It's supposed to happen a different way, right? One of the greatest people on this planet that I admire, Oprah, she's been fired, right? Like, she didn't win at everything, right? And there was a reason that had to happen to her. There's a reason why people go through homelessness. There's a reason why people go through alcoholism, substance abuse. There's a reason why you deal with the challenges and obstacles in your life. It is not comfortable. It is not even acceptable, right? Some of the things that people have gone through in life, you're like, what? Like, why, right? You're just asking this why. But it's more about, what do I need to learn from this moment? What is going to happen thereafter? How is my life going to be changed? What can I do with this new level of hurt? And I know that sometimes that's a little bit hard to see while you're going through the process of the challenge, of the trauma, of the obstacle. But that's really the questioning that you have to be able to jump to. The faster you can jump to it, the faster you can move through that trauma, through that pain, and really take that in. And so that's one thing. Another thing with expectations, and this is something that I struggled with for many, many years, and I continue to have to put it at bay and really work on it, which is, you set expectations. So I'm a Virgo as well. I'm just giving you all my life story, y'all. All my life story. I'm a Virgo, and I'm the type of Virgo that loves to succeed. Mediocrity is, to me, the equivalent of death, right? I'm not a perfectionist. I've worked past that. I understand that perfection is a fiction. I write about it. I teach it to my clients. Understood. Totally fine. Not 0 to 10, but definitely now, right? But what do I still do? I still am the create a list of 40 things today, like literally a 40 list, like 40 things I want to do today. What's the problem with that? The problem with that is, if I get to 1 to 20 and I miss 21 to 40, what am I going to say? Am I going to say, good job, Natasha? That's great. Yes, that's what we should be doing. That's what I teach. That's what I write about. That's the programming I put together. And I am at a stage in my life where I am like, oh, Natasha, you did it, 1 through 20. But when I look at 21 to 40, what do I also do? Which I have to, I'm about to do it, and then I have to stop, because this is exactly what I teach my clients, is that shame game. That, why didn't you finish it? What's your problem? Why aren't you accomplishing enough? Shaming of yourself is one of the most inefficient, ineffective, pointless exercise that we do in our minds. What we verbalize, pointless, right? Because you did 1 through 20. That's amazing. That is glorious. That is bettering your life. How is saying I didn't do 21 to 40 items today ever going to help you? How is it ever going to help you? It's not. It never will. It never has. It never will. And the minute that you, again, can accept that and stop yourself, because it's so natural to that. First, you could say, okay, I did it, yay. And then you say, oh man, I didn't. Nope. I did 1 through 20. Keep saying it to yourself. I did 20 items today. I accomplished half of these items. If that language doesn't even feel good to you, get specific. I'm so grateful that I wrote this. I'm so grateful I went food shopping. I'm so speak out each and every one of those victories and victories and wins that you had, and cut out the language about deficiency. Cut out that language of shame. It's not going to help. And that can be the problem with expectations. It can quickly turn into a shame game for yourself. And that's extremely problematic. Also, I have found, I mean, for me, I don't necessarily know if I do it with my husband, I would say, but I witness a lot of this also with family members, taking it out on others. When people don't win at things, what do? They become disgruntled, they become regretful, they become bitter, they become jaded, and they are the first person to tell you you can't win. They're the first person to criticize and challenge you on your dreams. They're the first person to inquire why you're good enough to do what you say you're good enough. And that is devastating. That ruins relationships. It breaks down family dynamics, friendship models. It's just nasty, to be frank, right? So that's a problem with expectation. It can lead to that. It can also lead to the self-harm, which is similar to the shaming yourself. If you didn't accomplish X this year, right? We're winding down 2019. How many of you accomplished everything you wanted to do this year? Definitely not me, right? Definitely not. Did I accomplish a lot? Oh, my life is like 1,000% better. Because one of the goals that me and my husband had, if you aren't already aware, is we moved across the country this year on literally hope and wanting to do it. There were no set things in place. We just got up and did, as much planning as we could, and did whatever we felt was in our control. And then we had to just act on the faith and the belief that we would make it work. And did our family or did people in our network fully support the decision? Of course not, because to them, it was a loss, right? Losing us to another state instead of seeing the win for us. And that's how people are. People are extremely selfish. It's all about you tell them something and they automatically think about how it's affecting them, as opposed to what you're gaining in your life and really celebrating you in the win that you're about to have. Instead, it's, well, I'm losing you and I'm losing this and right. And it's that natural human selfishness that takes over, which made the move even more apparent for us, to be honest, because not everyone thinks that way, not everyone behaves that way, and I would say that we mostly have more selfish people in our world, or our families, or all of that good stuff. So it's been victorious. It's been victorious to swim most days of the summer. It's been victorious to walk outside and not need a heavy coat. It's been victorious to experience probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever lived in my life. It is stunning. Guys, if you haven't been to Arizona, get out here. It is wonderful. If you like mountains and red earth and warm temperatures, this is your place. Sunny Arizona, right? It's just yellow mellow. It's fantastic. So yes, right, I accomplished something that I've been wanting me and my husband have been wanting for a couple of years. However, was everything on the list done? No, of course not, but that's okay. That's okay. And then also, I think another tie that can be a little bit problematic with having expectations is making bad decisions. Because what do? We see, like right now, guys, we're coming down to the last couple of weeks of 2019. People sometimes turn into that desperate mode. And what do? They start making decisions because they want that quick win, right? Like, I love when Gary Vaynerchuk, shout out to Gary V, is talking about like fast, how he hates that word and how he hates that people refuse to be patient. People refuse to understand it takes 35 years to get to that overnight success, right? We as a society, we see the win, but we don't see the many, many years that that person struggled and fought and clawed and was totally decimated before. We see the walking down the red carpet. We see the billion-dollar deals. At the end, we see the Wall Street Journal and the entrepreneur interviews. At the end, we do not see the 10 to 35 year struggle it took to get that entrepreneur article. We don't see that, guys. And that's the kicker. And that's where the expectation is also then imputed onto us, because we see the Gary V's, we see the Mark Zuckerbergs, we see the successful people in business, in fashion, in life, in beauty, right? And we're like, oh man, I got to do this. I'm 20 years old. I got to get this done. I'm 35 years old. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm in my 30s. I don't have children. Where are the children, right? All the expectations that other people impute upon you then become that internal clock, right? Even that phrase, like my clock is ticking. According to who? What clock is this? Has a doctor ever told you have a clock inside of you, right? Like, what are we talking about? Expectations can ruin your life. It can help you be better, but it can also ruin your life if you get too caught into that funnel of crazy, because it's a funnel of crazy, guys. So I have just a couple of thoughts as we wind down the program, because this was something I was thinking about. I was really excited for this program because I really, like I said, I gave you my context for how I came to understand expectations. And it wasn't easy, guys. It was rough. I mean, it wasn't the roughest, for sure. I understand that there was so much to be grateful for. There's so much blessing that I had in my life. There's so much autonomy, and there's so many lessons that I learned that have helped me stay grounded, that have helped me be the woman I am today. So I'm grateful for the crazy and the everything in between that happened. But these are some of my thoughts here. So what's the solution to expectations? I think what we need to do is think of them as more of directives, and this is how I'd want to go about it. Number one, with a bang, is happiness. I would hope that in my life I can be a parent, and the number one thing that would be most important, because this is something I would apply to myself. I could never advise someone else something and not apply it to me. That's disingenuous or disingenuous. Happiness. Every day when we wake up, what do? We start with our gratitude list. 3 things we're grateful for. And then what are we happy for? Is today going to be a happy day? And why? Why are you going to enjoy the day today? What's going to make today amazing? Let's start from a place of happiness, from a place of gratitude. That is an expectation, aka directive, that you can employ yourself. Happiness is a choice. Gratitude is a choice each and every time you implore that in your life. So let's start there, right? That's not an expectation, but it's a directive. It's a choice. Next, intuitive living. Yeah, maybe you have 10 things to do today. It's crazy time. It's Shop Small Business Saturday, right? Yay for all the small businesses out there, right? Making our money, making things happen. However, if you had an expectation of revenue to make $10,000 today and you didn't hit it, do we feel less accomplished? No. We feel grateful and happy for every dollar we received. We feel a glorious and amazement that we have a functioning business, that we have people who know about us, whether it's 1 person or 1 million people. The point is, people know who you are. People can shop, people can consume, people can ask you questions, engage, learn, listen, execute, focus on what you have, not what you don't have. And when you say, okay, well, I have 5 other things I need to do, but you feel like you're collapsing, you feel like you're having chest pains, you feel like you can't do it, you gotta go to number 2, which is intuitive living. As someone who lives with a chronic thing of hypothyroidism, I'll tell you, it rocked my world since of last May. Learning how to listen to my body has been making my life better. When I feel like I am dying, I have to stop whatever I'm doing. I don't care how important it is. You have to be here to do the work, right? So what's most important, your health or the to-do list? Your health. Every single time. Your health wins every single time. That battle is always like there. So intuitive living is how you're going to be able to live a better life. So we first start with the happiness, the gratitude, then we get to intuitive living. You have to listen to yourself. Your body is talking to you every single day. Every single day. He or she or it or they are telling you, hey, I'm hungry. Hey, I'm thirsty. You know what? I feel like I need a nap. Let's get a walk. I'm a little bit stiff. It's time to do some stretching, right? Like, your body's talking to you. Whether you choose to listen to it is absolutely up to you. But if you want a more successful, holistically happier existence, you'll do what you need to do and you'll take that directive, right? That's the expectation of wellness that you are in control of. No one else is in control of that. So we're going to do that. All right. And you're going to check in with yourself as well. So whether that comes down to business and you're like, oh, cool, I've made, $50 more this October as of last October. I made $100 more this November as of, right? Check in with yourself on business. Check in with yourself on goals. Or anyone writing a book, right? Who here has written the outline? Who here is on chapter 1, right? Check in with yourself, see where you're progressing with your goals, but it's a directive ordered by you. It is not an expectation put on to you from someone else. And I think changing the perspective and also changing how you view your goals and how you set your goals is how you can be happier and how it can't drive you as crazy as it used to. Because I think we've all really gone through this and it's destructive, right? Like you just sometimes have to like, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, boo. It's getting crazy in these streets. Next, I think this has been really important that I've been trying to do reasonable and stretch goals. So it's easy to say, I want to be a millionaire. I want da, 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 da. Yes, go for it. Go for it. Go big or go home, right? Always go big or go home. But to get to $1 million, what do we first need? We need $1, to be honest, right? And then when we have $1, could we aim for 10? Could we aim for 100? Could we aim for 1,000? Could we aim for 100,000? Could we aim for 500,000? Could we aim for 750, 100,000? Then the mill, right? Let's create a progressive chart where we can plot along the way, because before we can get $1 million, we have to get $1. Right. And I love it. Like I was watching a Steve Harvey video and he was like, if you can make $1, you can make $10. If you can make $10, you can make $100. If you can make $100, you can make $1,000. If you can make $1,000, you can make $10,000. Right. Like he just did the tenfold. Right. And that's a good way. That's a good benchmark. You can do that in. Right. Because every 10, if you can do it in tens, what are you going to do? You're eventually going to get to that 100,000, $1 million directive that you want, that you are executing, and you know why you want $1 million. Because every one of us, if we want money, it's going to mean something different for each of you. For me, I'll tell you, I want extreme wealth and wellness because I want to give back. I want to build certain things in place that I feel are missing in the educational space, in the space for animal protection and welfare. There are things that I'm passionate about where I know that like my passion's great, but also my money would be able to build, would be able to give resources, right? Because love and passion is great, but we also live in a world where resources is also how you effectuate change, right? So that's a big part of wanting to build wealth for me. It's not just, oh, I want that big mansion. Sure, right? That's lovely. That's fantastic. However, for me, community directives, community goals. What am I doing back for my community? What am I doing back to help women? What am I doing back to help young girls? What am I doing to help animals? What am I doing to help my community as a Black person? Those are things that are important to me. And every single one of us has reasons and directives guiding our choices. All right, so there's that. And then, of course, just a couple more things. Goals need to be set by you, right? These expectations, AKA directives, they are much more tangible. They're much more biteable, easier to deal with if you are setting them. If you decide what type of woman, what type of person, what type of business owner, what type of wife, spouse, partner, child, you are going to be. We have to stop allowing the external noise to create the internal madness, because life is too short and life is far happier and greater and more enjoyable when we decide what's happening with us internally, externally. All right, that's super simple, but it's a little bit trickier to execute. And so if you want more programming on that, if you want an understanding guide on how do you set the terms for yourself? How do you decide to say no? How do you approach boundaries? Put that in the comments, because I'm happy to work on that and do content, whether it's through the blog, whether it's through lives, whether it's through coaching. Let me know. All right. And then I mentioned it again, and I've always kind of celebrated this, and we're a little bit over, so I'll hurry up and get to my points, which is we have to celebrate the victories along the way. You might have 5 things you need to do today. When you get one done, we got to celebrate that first. To accomplish 5, you have to start with 1, right? Like what's the phrase? Every journey begins with the first step, right? Like you have to celebrate every notch along the belt before we have the complete product, the complete process, right? So there's that. Now, some words of wisdom before we close this out. Expectations can be the thief of joy. It really can be. The minute I stopped, again, following the external noise and listening to the internal directive, I was happier. I was more fulfilled, and I felt more in control. And human beings, we crave control. We crave the ability of certainty, the ability to know what's happening, because life is unexpected. Y'all watch Forrest Gump. Y'all know life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Yes. And, for us, some of us, we want dark chocolate. We want that mint chocolate. We want that white chocolate, right? There's certain little nuggets of things that we want, but we have to understand what we control and what we don't control. And for the things we do control is definitely how you run your life, is definitely what you want out of life, how you communicate, how you show up for yourself, how you show up for yourself in your career, how you show up for opportunity, how you believe in what you want out of life. That's under you. That's under your control, guys. So there's that. Execute, right? Execute, execute, execute. We spend a lot of time thinking and pontificating and all of this. What are we doing? What are you doing? What blog are you writing today? What sale are you making? What cold call are you doing? What email are you sending? We've got to execute. It's really fun to talk. Who you telling? Right? Who you telling? I love talking. As my husband says, I could talk to a wall. I could talk for 1,000 years. Abso-freaking-lutely, man. I could talk to the end of time. But what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Right? So you can write that on your notes and your journals. You can write that on your calendar every day. What are we doing? What are we doing? We have to execute. Ignore the noise. I talked about that a bit. Y'all get it. Also understanding the why of when we're missing the mark and when we are hitting the mark. The why is just as important as the what in our lives, guys. We have to understand why we're doing things. Clarity is key. The Dress and Remake principle, the little tagline for the company is how to have clarity, right? Think with clarity, dress with confidence, live with purpose. Clarity, confidence, purpose. Those are the 3 things we have to be executing every single day. Not because I said so, but because when you understand why, you live in glory, you live in amazement, and it's the best thing ever. All right. And then just enjoy the process, right? There's so much like fun that comes from accomplishment. There's so much joy. I mean, I feel like this year, like I generally enjoy Christmas. My favorite holiday is Halloween. I told you, I'm giving you my life story, guys. So Halloween is everything for me. Shout out to Michael Myers. Shout out to all people who love horror. Everything for me. But Christmas this year is really special because I'm just like, wow, like this year's a gift. It's a miracle to be able to do what we had to do to move here, and that journey and travel. Woo, crazy, but we're here, and every day it's like it's a dream. It really is. So what are you doing to make sure that you enjoy the process every single day, so that you can look back when we get to December 31st and you're just like, whoa, all the great things you did and all the great accomplishments you overcame, that you went through, because we all did. We had wins and we had some teachable lessons here. What were they? Why did they happen? What did you learn from them? All right. So that's it, guys. This concludes it, and we're a little bit over. So thank you for rocking with me for Dear Journal. Good stuff. What do I need you to do? I need you to go to dressingroom8.com and definitely do a couple of things. First, sign up for subscribe to the blog so that you can get notifications in your email every time there's a new blog post, and you are not going to be like, oh my God, I missed that. No, you got it. Subscribe to the newsletter. I send monthly wisdom nuggets. You don't want to miss out on those nuggets. Help you get through and plan appropriately for the next upcoming months. Of course, what else can you do? Go to the events page, check out what's happening. December has some fun activities. I think I have a couple more things I need to add to the calendar, so stay on the lookout there. And then, of course, if you really enjoyed this conversation, if you felt like this was something that you would like to have a one-on-one with, what do? I love to talk and I want to talk with you. So if you want a free one-on-one coaching consultation, I've been doing accountability coaching, which has been really, really fun and really targeted to help you achieve on a weekly basis. If those are things you want to talk about, what do? Go to dressingroom8.com, schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me. Happy to chat. Happy. All right. And then outside of that, just thank you for tuning in today. It's Dear Journal. If you need a journal and you need recommendations on journals, also hit me up. Let me know. I'm happy to give some really cool recommendations there. And then, of course, we'll see you soon. All right. So enjoy today. Have a blessed, productive, happy day. And I can't wait to see you for the next program. All righty. So I'm going to say bye on YouTube and then bye.